Hello, everyone. Mark Isaac Potter Presents is the name of the show. I don't know what I'm going to do on this show, frankly, but I'll probably do something autobiographical. Uh, I was born in I was born in Lorain, Ohio, but we lived next to it in Vermilion, Ohio, and that was a town without a hospital. We lived out in the township, so we didn't live in town in Vermilion. We lived out in Vermilion Township on 2/3 of an acre of land. We had green beans and tomatoes and Concord grapes. We had 31 cats, 2 dogs, a parakeet, a pony named Lightning, 2 dogs, and 6 people. So I was abused a lot as a kid, as most of you probably already know. Uh, I don't know if I want to say who did what, but one person threw my brother and I down the stairs as little kids trying to kill us. One person beat me with a baseball bat when I was 2 years old. My doctor still can't figure out why I'm alive. Uh, what else? A lot of other abuse, both as a child and as an adult. I am a person with both physical and mental disabilities. Physically, I've got arthritis at my age. I've got a heart condition, had a heart attack in 2014, and since then I've had congestive heart failure recurring. Let's see what else. This is all the weird stuff, I guess. I could put in here uncharacteristically that I am I would say a somewhat accomplished person, although I really am reticent to say anything about my accomplishments. I've thrown away all the trophies and certificates that I've gotten over my lifetime. I'm just not comfortable with that splashing myself all over the place. Um, I think that comes from my Ohio background that we don't like people who are uppity or braggadocious, and I still have that trait for some reason. I may try to say something on one of these videos about my accomplishments, but probably not. I'm a writer. I've been writing since 1965, and it's now 2025, so uh, that's a while. I don't know how much. What is that? 25, 35 plus 25. So 60 years? Can't be 60. Yeah, it could be. Okay. 60 years. Been doing my TV show for 23 years. I love helping people by having them on the show. It's an interview style show. Uh, when I was about, let's see, I went to Vermilion schools. I rode a school bus to school. I really liked school. After high school, I went to Bowling Green State for 2 years and I dropped out and started hitchhiking across the country in the summer of probably 71. And I wound up in Arizona, Phoenix, lived in various places in Arizona, uh, on the corner of 16th and Thomas in Phoenix. I lived on McAllister, I think it was, uh, in Tempe. I worked at Hobo Joe's, which is no longer there, but it is on the internet. The history of Hobo Joe's restaurant is on the internet. Uh, oh, let's see. So I lived in Phoenix, like I said, till about 73, late 73. I had one girlfriend in Phoenix, then I had a lady that I met. I went to California for a conference, a peace conference, while I lived in Arizona, and I met someone, and that person traveled to Phoenix to see me, and then I left Phoenix with her, and we traveled around the United States in her car for a while. We went to Philadelphia, we went to Kansas City. Her parents lived in Kansas City. I went to Philadelphia to the Quaker meeting at some point. I don't know if it was then. I get my timelines mixed up. But eventually we moved to Palo Alto, California. We lived in East Palo Alto because the rent was cheaper. And then a few months after we got here, where I've been in Northern California now all these years, 50 years, uh, she and I broke up. She went to live in Berkeley, and I stayed in East Palo Alto for a little while. Then I got a room in a house in Palo Alto on Alma Street and did work for various anti-war nonprofits like the War Resistance League in California and San Francisco and other places. I can't remember the other places right now. Oh, they say that yawning means you're trying to release something, so maybe this video is good for me to do. I hope so. So, let's see. I met a woman. Let's see. I moved to California in 73. In 75 or 6, I met a woman named Anna. My friend Peter and I had been doing a poetry magazine, publishing a poetry magazine. She came to one of the publishing parties, issue parties, and make a long story short, about a year later, we got married. We were married for about a year and a half. And I had said during courting that I did not want kids. And about a year and a half into the marriage part, she said she wanted to have kids. And I said, I don't want kids. So we got a divorce over that issue. And I thought I would never get married again. I was very upset by the divorce, but I wanted it because I didn't want kids. I was abused so much I was afraid I would abuse my own children. But then, let's see, that would have been about 77, 78, maybe later. So within a year or two, I met another woman named Carolyn, and we hit it off quite well. We dated for about a year, got married. We were married for 13 years. She was the love of my life, quite an extraordinary lady. She was quite a bit older than me, and that seemed to work very well for us somehow. Oh, yeah. So there's a lot more to that story. A lot more. I don't know whether to say it now or to stop because people like short videos. She passed away in 1995, and I was totally freaked out, heartbroken, dismayed, depressed. I cannot remember the 12 months after she passed what the heck I did. But about 13 months after she passed away, I was trying to find myself again, and I started joining. I didn't start, but I joined a group with a spiritual teacher who a few years later, 1 or 2 years later, became known as Adi Ashanti, who is fairly well known around the world at this point. Um, and I studied with him for many years. I would call it a form of Zen, but he does not call it that. Uh, so yeah, so I studied with him for a while. Then I studied Zen in other platforms. Studied with a man named Jerry, who was a rogue Zen priest. He had a meeting in Cupertino, and then I studied with a regular Zazen group in Japantown. So quite a few years, 20 some years. In 2001, I would have been 51. I started volunteering at a TV station in Mountain View called KMVT 15. It's a public access station, and started volunteering there. To make a long story short, I'm still contributing there. Post COVID, I don't go into the TV station, but before like from 2001 to 2019, I was there a lot. I won the Volunteer of the Year twice. I won the Lifetime Achievement Award once. Uh, Very fun place. That's what got me into TV producing. As you all know, I still produce a show for them. And all of my 150 of my shows for them are on YouTube, on their YouTube channel. And then I have about 160 shows on a different YouTube channel that I started about 2 years ago. Uh, yeah, so that almost brings you up to date. I lived in Santa Clara County from 73 to about 2 years ago, so maybe 2022 or 23. And I moved over to Fremont, and I ran a room over here in Fremont from a friend. So that's it. And I do my show from my little office in my room on Zoom, and then post it to YouTube and other social media. So that's a thumbnail of me. I'll tell you more later. I think I've already done some autobiographical videos, but I don't know. They're hard to put together in a defined series somehow. Anyway, you guys take care. I'll talk to you soon. Nice to see you.